introduced to us in season 8 of RuPaul's Drag Race and went on to win that season. She's since gone on to worldwide acclaim and is currently appearing in HBO's We're Here, co-hosts the Sibling Rivalry podcast with Monet X Change, and has a comedy special out called Bob the Drag Queen, live at Caroline's NYC. We sat down with Bob to discuss all things drag, the Black Lives Matter movement, and of course, sassiness. Hi Bob, thanks for joining us. You've got so many projects on the go at the minute. Do you always like staying so busy?
I like being busy. Yeah, I enjoy being busy. Sometimes it's a little much. You know, recently, me and my good friend Peppermint have become like the board members of this, like the creators essentially of this event called Black Queer Town Hall that we're putting on later this month, which has been taking up a lot of my time in a great way. So I'm actually really excited for that to kick off. So Queer Town Hall is like a collection of Black queer thinkers, activists, community leaders, all getting together to discuss the Black queer diaspora.
We're Here has just been renewed for a second season, so that's pretty.
Which is so exciting. I mean, I could, you know, what more could a girl ask for? And the fact that I'm a little Black queer kid from Columbus, Georgia, so this is beyond my wildest dreams, but also exactly what I had planned for myself.
So how did you get involved with that project?
So I got a phone call from Steve Warren, who's one of the creators of the show. Steve Warren and Johnny Ingram created the show. And I just randomly got a cold call from a number I didn't recognize. And I always answer the phone, even when I don't recognize the number. I think it's important. And he was like, I have a show. I want you to be in this. I have an idea for a show, but I can't tell you over the phone. We have to meet in person. And I guess I was just nutty enough to go downtown and talk to him.
What did you learn about yourself shooting it, or the first season?
What did I learn about myself? I mean, I don't know that it was like a big self-exploration. I learned a lot. I think what was more important what I learned about these communities, what I learned about small towns. Even being from a small town, I had an opportunity to learn something, you know?
Obviously, you work with Shangela and Eureka. What was that like? Are you friends with them in real life, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Shangela, Eureka, and I are friends. We are closer now than we were before this project. I mean, I had written a song for Eureka years ago, and me and Shangela did a song together years ago as well. And I've toured with both of them, but we have certainly been bonded through this process.
If an All-Stars with all the winners happened, would you jump on board?
Man, there was a point in time where my answer was like yes, emphatically. And nowadays I'm more like, we'll have to see what I got going on at the time. Because Drag Race is a really big commitment. You have to take like essentially 3 months of your life to do this show.
So you don't see that watching it, just like...
Yeah, no, it takes 2 months to film it, and it takes a month to get ready for it. And getting ready for Drag Race is nonstop getting ready. It's not like, it's like you have to do, it's like around the clock work. You have to prepare like 40 looks in like 2 weeks.
You do that all yourself?
Well, I mean, when I did my season, I had one designer make one outfit, and I made the rest myself. But I think Drag Race has changed a lot since season 8. You know, you probably couldn't go on there with a couple of handmade outfits from your home collection and win anymore.
And who do you think would be your biggest competition if you did do it? Or you just go...
Maybe Alaska. I think she's a really great queen.
I think it was in episode 1, your Western-inspired outfit, the white with all the tassels, and
it was episode 2.
Episode
it
2.
was the it was the leather denim. It was a white denim look with a cowboy hat and my bedazzled rhinestone. I actually have all the costumes. I'm in my basement, so like I'm looking at like a couple of the costumes right now for like where I'm sitting.
Where did you come up with the inspiration for all those? Do you plan? I guess you've got to plan those ahead as well for that TV show.
We based off the town, we get a prompt, and the prompt was country western, so we all did our own iterations of that. And I also have a designer named Domino Couture who makes most of my outfits for this season.
You described yourself as having gay DD before, so you talk a lot. Did that help with the unscripted nature?
Like, you ever heard the expression, the banana and the straight man? Have you ever heard this expression? Expression used to describe like maybe Abbott and Costello, or Lucy and Ethel. Like Lucy's the banana and Ethel's the straight man, because one person has to be more grounded and someone else is more crazy. And I've always been the banana, except in this situation, because Shangela and Eureka are so wild that I've somehow become like the straight man, which is kind of crazy.
Is that intentional, or you just always fall?
No, I'm actually a really even killed kind of person. Like, I think people think that I'm like really wild and crazy, but I'm actually a pretty calm person in general.
Yeah.
I get excited like every other person. I have most of the emotions that most human beings have. But I tend to like be a little more monotone. A lot of my friends describe me like that. Better yet, deadpan. People describe me as deadpan a lot. Yeah, I'm a little bit more be author than I am. I'm more I'm not so much Sophia Petrillo as much as I am, you know, Dorothy's Bornak.
I guess that helps though with obviously with the unscripted and talking with the podcast that you do. So you got, do you find it easy to talk to people being like that?
I don't know if the podcast has helped me. Maybe it has helped me actually. I mean, but I've loved talking to people since I was a child. Like I've loved asking questions. I love getting to know people. I love talking to people. I've always just really loved interacting.
Moving on to the comedy special of Caroline's, you performed and wrote the show. Was that all scripted, or is it like a bit of ad-libbing, scripting? So where'd you
my comedy special?
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely went into my comedy special with jokes already planned. I didn't just go on stage and go, what am I gonna say? And there are some moments where I make up things on the spot as well. But for the most part, I mean, I spent a lot of time writing those jokes out and making sure that I was able to, you know, articulate and remember every point because I've been writing those jokes over the course since my first special. So since I did Suspiciously Large Woman, I have been basically writing my next show, which was Bob the Drag Queen Live at Caroline's.
And can you riff off the audience? Do you trying to change things up when you've read the audience, how that feeling?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be, you know, amiable to what's going on. If you're gonna incorporate a live audience, you have to be able to work them into your set.
And what inspires your material?
Different things. I mean, Bob the Drag Queen Live at Caroline's was very inspired by Martha Caldwell, my mother, and about like growing up as a Black kid in the South, a Black queer kid in the South. So a lot of this special is about that.
Oh, amazing. You're also an executive producer. So how did that come about?
The real truth is I produced it because, you know, no one else was offering to like, at the time I made my first special, no one else was offering to make my show. So I made my own fucking show. Like, if no one's gonna, like, I want a special, I could either wait around till Netflix offers me something, or I could make something happen myself.
So how important is it to see Black queer successful people in the mainstream media, especially right now?
Well, I know how much it meant to me to see people like Bibi Zahara Benet, Whoopi Goldberg, RuPaul. I'm not saying Whoopi Goldberg is queer, but like seeing people who look like me on TV succeeding really meant a lot to me. Like not just growing up, but still to this day. I'm 33 years old, and I still love seeing Black success stories.
Yeah,
I got so excited the other day when Shea Coulee announced that she had a beer coming out. I don't even drink beer, but I just got so excited. I was like, this is amazing.
How has your drag evolved during quarantine, and where do you see drag sort of going after everything? It's never going to be over, but just sort of dies down a little bit.
Well, I mean, my internet savvy has certainly evolved a lot. My online presence has certainly evolved a lot during quarantine because, I mean, this is where we live now. We live on the internet. I mean, where do you live? Where are you at right now?
I'm in the UK, so Oxford.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm as close to you as I am to my friend who lives 20 blocks away because this is how we connect now.
Yeah. So I've never used Zoom before, so it's the first Zoom meeting I've ever done.
I'm your first Zoom?
You are, yeah.
I'm honored. I'm honored.
How do you think we should be supporting Queens again going forward if things are going to be more online?
Well, there's lots of ways to support. A lot of drag queens with these shows where they put their Venmo in the description. You can tip them, but also if you can't tip them, but you want to like support their art, you can also share. Sharing content is like a big deal. Just clicking share and getting it in front of more eyes and helping people see queer art is really easy to do, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Are there any drag queens that you've been really inspired by?
Well, I've really been inspired by a few people during this quarantine. I feel like Trixie Mattel has been putting out a lot of really high quality content during quarantine. Monet X Change has been really doing a great job with her show, The Exchange Rate, and also our podcast, Sibling Rivalry. She's really just been working really, really, really hard during this quarantine.
So can you think of one thing we as like white people or allies how can we engage more people in social injustices towards the Black community?
Well, a good quote is, a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So, if you see injustices, you can call them out, and injustices don't have to be as big as kneeling on the neck of a black person until their life is drained from them. It can be as small as microaggressions. It can be as small as epithets. It can be as small as there are different ways that you see, and microaggressions when you see them. Like if you don't need me to tell you that people transgressing your black friends is egregious to you, like when it's happening, and don't let it happen in your presence. If people don't feel comfortable being racist around you, they're going to have a lot less people to be racist around. Like there was a time in the world where people were really embarrassed to be racist. You didn't want anyone to know that you were racist, and now they're called Proud Boys. Now there's a whole group in America called Proud Boys, and they're proud of themselves. Of course, they would say the Proud Boys would say they're not racist. They would say their pride is based around being American. But I think that, yeah, people know the subtext.
What do you think sort of teaching about more black history in schools, and obviously sort of black people in positions of power are important? That's the way things are really going to change, I think.
Well, I think it depends on where you live. I mean, I know that I had a lot of black history growing up because I'm from Atlanta, the home of MLK. So we talked about black history all the time. I was recently talking to a friend of mine who said there was none of that in their school. They didn't get implemented with black history. They didn't learn about W.E.B. Du Bois and Malcolm X and Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth and Rosa Parks and the list goes on and on. They didn't learn about that. I also went to like all black schools. I'm from a black area. I went to a black county, so I had a lot of that growing up. And I think it is important to put that in communities that aren't necessarily black communities, because I mean, black people are an essential fabric in the tapestry of America.
From that, sort of, how have you been? Have you been celebrating Pride in any way, and how do you think we can kind of intertwine those issues to raise more awareness?
Well, I mean, I haven't left my house. I mean, I go to the grocery store, and I did go to a few demonstrations in regards to Black Lives Matter, but I haven't done the normal, which is like normally at this time you gotta be traveling around. I'd be going from this pride to that pride to that pride to that pride. Right now, I think I'm reflecting a lot more on my intersectionality as a black queer person.
Have you got any, because we're called Sassify, so we sort of talk about sassiness. Have you got like your best sassy anecdote?
I mean, a lot of my friends call me a diva, and they say that I have like an attitude. And I did get fired from my first job for having an attitude problem back in 2004 or 3 or whatever it was. So I mean, the list of me being sassy. Well, I mean, this goes on. We could literally do a whole series of me having run-ins with people because of my quote unquote sassiness.
One in particular that stands out, or?
So Monet X Change loves to tell this story. So we were doing a tour in the UK. Shout out to Club Kids UK. And the Club Kids UK is one of these companies that tours drag queens around. And we were doing like the roast battle or something like that. And my writer has like the food I like to eat on. Everyone has a writer. So after the show, I realized everyone's food from their writer was there except mine. Dorothy got her food. Monet got her food, Fifi, Ginger Minge, everyone got their food, Monique, Hart, everyone except for me. And I didn't say anything. I let it slide. I just went and got some food. And then the second day it happened again. And I was like, you know what? It's not a big deal. I'm just going to go gently remind this person again. Shout out Andrew, who I love. I love Andrew, by the way. And then the third day, they didn't have my order. And I was so hungry. I was so tired. And I walked up to Andrew, who's so sweet and so nice and really a great advocate. I walked up to him and because my writer said, I want 5 bananas. And I went to the table and there were 3 bananas. So I walked over to Andrew, and we walked over and I said, well, how many bananas do you see on the table? And he was like, I think I say 3. And I was like, well, how many bananas did I ask for? He was like, well, you asked for 5. And I was like, this thing, I asked for 5. And I was like, Thorgy has her food, Monet has her food, Monique, everyone is eating. I'm the only one. All I wanted was bananas. All I wanted was 5 bananas. And then I see Thorgy walk to the background eating one of my fucking bananas. So she's one of the culprits. So anyway, I kind of had a little mini meltdown over the bananas.
And finally, what made you laugh today?
Today? Let's see, it is 2:19 p.m. I woke up and I started doing some business calls. When have I laughed? At what point did I laugh? I've already had a couple of laughs on this call. You know, I was having a meeting with planning this Black Queer Town Hall, and I can't remember what it was, but Peppermint said something that really tickled me pink. But of course, I can't remember what it was in this moment.
You've actually been really lovely. So I was a bit nervous, but there you go.
You sound shocked that I was so nice.
No. Just again, I'm not sure how with Zoom and.
What have you heard about me, Jason? I'm really nice. I swear I'm super nice. I'm the nicest. Is it Cattenhorn?
It's Cattenhorn, yeah. I can never pronounce it myself. So.
Or Cattenhorn, as you would say, with because I would say Cattenhorn. But you probably would say Cattenhorn. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Cattenhorn. Be well.
Bye-bye.